Well, you pull out and you shoot 4 times.
Yeah, the gun jammed.
Oh, the gun jammed.
Yeah.
It all kicked off with one emotional tweet and a breakup that nobody saw coming. Then, boom! Rumors started flying everywhere, names were getting dragged through the mud, and the internet wasted no time choosing a villain. Overnight, all eyes turned to NBA YoungBoy, and fans ran wild with theories until one mysterious tweet dropped and flipped the entire story upside down.
After you start shooting, all hell breaks loose. There were off-duty cops in the area, and they start shooting.
Right.
On December 27th, 2025, Kai Cenat hopped on X and typed out just 8 words that sent the whole internet spiraling into chaos. I'm single. I will never be in another relationship again. That simple post blew up like wildfire, racking up over 64 million views in just hours. The streaming world had officially entered one of the most dramatic sagas it had ever seen. The timing couldn't have been worse. Just a week earlier, Kai had opened up on stream about battling depression and struggling with his mental health. It was a rare, emotional moment, and now this tweet made everything feel 10 times heavier. The internet didn't hold back. They tore Kai apart after his emotional confession.
You end up getting shot twice?
Right.
Well, what parts of the body?
I get shot in my right hip bone, and I get shot on my head.
Trolls flooded his comments, questioning how someone with money, fame, and millions of fans could possibly struggle inside. It was brutal, and before those wounds even had a chance to heal, Kai was back online, dropping a bomb about his relationship status for millions of people who were ready to break down every single word. His relationship with Gabrielle Gigi Elia had been public since December 16th, 2024, when Kai proudly confirmed it during his 23rd birthday live stream.
No.
How'd you feel when Durk got locked up, though?
I ain't gonna lie, Durk a good bro. You feel me? A cool, smooth bro. Take care of his people, folks. So, you feel me? It's just like one of them things like, damn, bro. I hope bro come from under that, you know what I'm saying? I can't imagine how you feel right now being at the top right now,
Yeah.
like, and to go in, like, in that moment, like, that, like, you know? But, you know, bro gonna come back on this, out on this shit. He gonna do what he needs to do. He gonna come from under that.
For a whole year, they were the streaming world's power couple. They showed up at events together, appeared in each other's content, and gave off that perfect match energy that everyone rooted for. Everywhere you looked, TikTok, Instagram streams, they were glowing with what looked like real love. Kai spoke about Gigi with such warmth and respect that fans truly believed he had found something solid in the chaos of internet fame. But then, out of nowhere, that one tweet hit the timeline and everything flipped in an instant.
Difficult was it for you to watch him get murdered on video?
Out of nowhere, anonymous accounts started flooding X and Instagram with wild claims that rocked the entire internet. These posts hit like digital earthquakes, each one louder, messier, and more shocking than the last. Suddenly, everyone's timelines were burning up with drama, and at the center of it all was a name nobody expected to see tied to this chaos: NBA YoungBoy. The story that exploded online felt way too wild to be real. According to the viral post, Gigi was allegedly involved with NBA YoungBoy behind the scenes, and get this, he had supposedly bought her a pink Mercedes G-Wagon for Christmas. That was the same luxury car Kai had reportedly refused to buy her just weeks earlier. The detail was so specific, so flashy, that it sent social media into a frenzy.
It broke my heart, for sure. Like, I don't really be, like, emotional for real. Like, I'm so numb to death, I'm not a stranger to it because I've been experiencing it my whole life. But like when he died and seeing that, like, it really, like, you know, I'm getting emotional right now.
The picture being painted was pure betrayal, so dramatic it could have come straight from a reality TV finale. Imagine it, the biggest streamer in the world, a guy who had once cried during NBA YoungBoy's concert, now being accused of getting played by the very artist he idolized. The internet couldn't believe it, but they couldn't look away either. The irony hit everyone like a punch. It was impossible to ignore. Back in September 2025, Kai had gone to NBA YoungBoy's massive show at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, and that night became one of the most unforgettable moments of his entire career. As YoungBoy performed Heart and Soul, Kai stood in the crowd with tears streaming down his face, completely caught up in the emotion of the music.
No, listen.
The whole situation that happened with Quando.
How we live and how we go by our and I'm speaking for the whole Chicago. You ain't there. Shut the fuck up. You weren't there. So you made a diss and said something about Vaughn. That's why I don't with you. You ain't did. You did.
It wasn't fake, it was raw, real, and powerful. That single tear rolling down his cheek went viral instantly. Fans all over the internet praised him for being so open and real, calling it a rare moment of true vulnerability. It was proof that even one of the biggest entertainers on the planet could still be deeply moved by his musical heroes. Kai had always made it clear, NBA YoungBoy wasn't just another rapper to him, he had called him one of his top 3 favorite artists at Rolling Loud 2023. He blasted YoungBoy's songs on almost every stream, spreading that energy non-stop. He even once introduced Victoria Justice to YoungBoy's catalog during his Mafia on 3 Subathon, watching her vibe to tracks she had never heard before. Kai's fandom wasn't some casual thing.
What did YoungBoy do for everybody want me and him think we want to kill each other?
Okay, I'm giving, and by the way, I know the YoungBoy fans to be wild. I'm not representing his opinion. I'm telling you what I think his opinion is.
It was real, passionate, and deeply documented through years of content. And now, the internet was claiming that this same artist, the one Kai had cried for, defended online, and looked up to, might be tangled in the biggest betrayal of his career. The idea that the same artist whose music had powered some of Kai's most iconic streams might have been intimate with his girlfriend sent shockwaves through every corner of the internet. If true, this wasn't just relationship drama, it was betrayal on a level that cut way deeper than most could imagine. Fans were stunned, and theories started flying faster than anyone could keep up. Some versions of the rumor claimed it all traced back to July 2025 when NBA YoungBoy dropped his massive 30-track album, Mass. Kai had reviewed it live on stream, giving it a 6.5 out of 10 and calling a few songs mid.
I think that because of that incident, which was very unfortunate at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, it's changed everybody's lives irreparably.
Yeah, that's everybody over.
He even put up a disclaimer on screen that read, "I'm not a music expert, I'm a bum," trying to dodge the wrath of diehard fans. But according to one outrageous theory, YoungBoy allegedly got involved with Gigi as revenge for that lukewarm review. A plotline so wild it sounded straight out of a meme, but people ran with it anyway.
Well, you pull out and you shoot 4 times.
Yeah, the gun jammed.
Oh, the gun jammed?
Yeah.
After the 4th shot?
Probably like the 3rd shot.
The internet ate it up, pushing the idea that this might have been payback wrapped in luxury cars and broken hearts. Then came the chaos. A fake viral tweet popped up claiming that DJ Academics had exposed everything on one of his live streams. The post exploded before anyone could even verify it, spreading across every platform in minutes. Suddenly, Academics, who had nothing to do with it, was dragged into the storm, catching heat from all sides as the drama snowballed out of control. DJ Academics quickly jumped online, insisting he had nothing to do with the rumor. But by that point, the story was spinning out of control.
And the thing about Atlanta is, and that's one of the knocks I have with our DA, everything's either a RICO, as you learned from the YSL case, or everybody's a gang member. If you've got a tattoo and you hang out with a couple other folks, you're in a gang. That's just how it works. And the reason we do that in Georgia is if you can imply to the judge that there's a gang connection in your indictment.
Within just 24 hours, every major entertainment outlet had picked it up, and the internet was in full meltdown mode. Comment sections were going crazy, filled with hot takes, wild memes, and endless speculation. Big names started jumping in too. Duke Dennis, Imdantai, even Joe Budden, all throwing their opinions into the mix. Everyone was breaking down every tiny detail, analyzing screenshots and guessing motives, even though the whole thing was built on unverified claims from faceless accounts. It was pure chaos, but no one could look away. The world was waiting on one thing, Kai's response.
I feel like, I'm not even gonna feel like, like this is the truth. It's just like, when that in you is in you. Like that just, it's easy for you. Like you gotta really.
Would he finally speak out? Would he confirm the cheating rumors or shut them down once and for all? Would there actually be a confrontation between the biggest streamer alive and one of hip-hop's most controversial rappers? The internet was holding its breath, timelines refreshing nonstop, fans glued to their screens, waiting for the next bomb to drop, and then, just when things couldn't get any wilder, Gigi spoke. Her response was explosive, and it hit right after Academics' denial, setting the stage for the most chaotic twist yet.
You gotta work harder on not doing something to somebody than anything else. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, I think you feel like when you know what you're capable of and you feel like somebody playing with you, you would just do something. Like, it would just make you.
How you let
The internet didn't have to wait long. Gigi Aaliyah finally broke her silence, and she did it with fire. Her response hit through her Instagram stories, and she wasn't holding anything back. Every sentence cut through the noise with razor-sharp precision, directly tackling every single accusation that had been thrown at her over the past 48 hours since Kai's viral tweet.
I ain't on this no more.
It's like it take a little minute to adjust though.
Okay.
It's not like a snap of a finger.
Okay.
Like Von wasn't a millionaire for years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he still was
He was
fresh
still trying to
and
stack.
coming out the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he getting his money, he doing what he doing, but it take you a long time to really process that this is my life.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's like naturally he really still a street. So he gonna react like how a street react.
Right from the start, Gigi made one thing crystal clear. She was the one who ended the relationship, not Kai. That single statement flipped the entire narrative on its head. The internet had been painting her as the villain, the one who supposedly betrayed her loyal boyfriend, but Gigi wasn't about to let that story stand unchallenged. She came in swinging, writing, "Now you want to get on the internet and rush to paint a false narrative about me off a fake Twitter post is insane." Her tone was fierce, almost shaking through the screen. The message was loud and direct. According to Gigi, Kai knew exactly what he was doing, letting false rumors run wild while the internet turned against her.
But you know, certain people from Iraq, like, they think out of town be put, like they think out of town they take, man, you know, it's killers everywhere. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Be thinking like, man, we'll do the same thing, bro. You feel what I'm saying? But that's crazy.
Then came the line that silenced everyone. "I've never cheated on him, and you know that." She aimed that straight at Kai, leaving no room for misinterpretation. That one sentence changed everything, hinting that there was way more to this story than what fans were seeing online, and the truth might be far messier than anyone expected. Then came the part of Gigi's message that had the internet gasping. She wrote, "I have never dealt with that man. Play that sympathetic role somewhere else." That final line hit like a straight punch to the gut. The phrase "play that sympathetic role somewhere else" carried heavy weight. It suggested that Kai's broken-hearted act wasn't genuine at all. Gigi was basically saying he was performing for the cameras, using his pain as a shield to win sympathy while hiding what had really gone down between them. It was a bold accusation, and the internet went wild dissecting it. Was she exposing the truth or just trying to save face? Fans couldn't stop debating every word, every tone, every emoji. The whole situation had become less about the facts and more about who people wanted to believe. And that's where things got messy, because when it came to public influence, Kai Cenat had the upper hand by a long shot. His audience stretched into the tens of millions, spanning every social platform out there. Every post, every tiny reaction, every subtle hint from him got magnified instantly by fans who were already locked on his side from the start. Before any proof or receipts even surfaced, the court of public opinion had already chosen a winner, and Gigi was fighting a battle she was never built to win. But Gigi's statement did something no one saw coming. It planted doubt. Suddenly, the rumor mill started wobbling. What if the cheating story was completely made up? What if the whole pink G-Wagon drama was just internet fan fiction that spiraled way out of control? And what if the real reason behind their breakup had nothing to do with NBA YoungBoy at all? The thought alone sent social media into a frenzy. While everyone was trying to piece things together, DJ Academics found himself caught in his own storm. That fake tweet linking him to the NBA YoungBoy rumor had spread like wildfire, so fast that he was now receiving actual death threats from Kai's most devoted fans. It got scary real quick. Academics wasn't having it. He went online loud and clear, saying he had never spoken about Kai, Gigi, or NBA YoungBoy on any live stream. He reminded everyone that he streams to over 15,000 viewers a night, and if he had really said something like that, there'd be clips everywhere. Fans record everything, every word, every slip-up, every spicy comment. So he asked the obvious question, if I said it, where's the video? Where's the proof? His challenge hit hard, forcing people to stop and think for the first time in days. Had everyone been chasing a story that didn't even exist? The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Observers couldn't help but point out that DJ Academic's own blog had a long history of stirring things up with questionable info, but this time, there was no solid proof linking him to the NBA YoungBoy rumor at all. Every trail led to nowhere. It looked like someone had flat out made up the claim, slapping Academics' name on it just to make the story sound more believable. It was a setup, plain and simple. But then came the twist no one expected. NBA YoungBoy himself finally spoke out. The man at the very center of all the chaos decided to drop his own message on X, formerly Twitter. And it was only 3 words long. That's all it took to send the internet into a decoding frenzy. His post read, "Don't trust nothing." Those 3 words lit up social media like fireworks. Fans were scrambling to interpret the meaning. Was he denying everything? Was it shade? Was he talking about Gigi, Kai, or the entire internet circus? Nobody knew for sure, but one thing was clear. The drama had just hit a whole new level. That tweet blew up instantly, 17 million views in just 6 hours. The internet went wild, analyzing every single word, punctuation mark, and emoji like detectives on a mission. People couldn't stop debating. Was NBA YoungBoy saying the rumors were fake? Was he throwing shade at the denials? Or was he talking about something completely different that had nothing to do with the drama at all? The mystery was driving everyone insane. The post's vagueness only made things worse. Fans twisted every meaning possible and the conversation spread like wildfire. Instead of calming things down, YoungBoy's words turned the internet into a full-on rumor factory. Everyone wanted to be the first to decode the hidden message behind those 3 cryptic words, "Don't trust nothing." Then DJ Academics dropped a surprising detail. Apparently, YoungBoy had personally reached out to him after seeing the fake tweets blow up. The rapper wanted answers, confronting Academics about the rumors that had his name tangled up in the mess. Academics explained straight up that he had never said anything about Kai, Gigi, or the situation at all. For someone like YoungBoy, who's known for staying away from internet drama and rarely interacting online, the fact that this chaos had reached his radar showed just how massive the situation had become. It was clear now. This situation had blown up far beyond anything anyone expected. The scale of it was unreal, and yet the more people looked into the story, the more obvious one thing became. There was zero solid evidence backing any of it up. No photos of Gigi and NBA YoungBoy together, no screenshots, no witnesses, no receipts, nothing. The so-called pink G-Wagon story didn't even have a verified source. It all traced back to random faceless accounts that had never reported anything credible before. Every single person named in the scandal, Gigi, DJ Academics, and now YoungBoy himself, had come forward denying any involvement. Still, the damage was done. The lie had already taken on a life of its own, spreading across platforms like a virus that couldn't be stopped. The internet didn't care about proof, it cared about drama. Reaction videos were everywhere, podcasts were dissecting the breakup from every angle, and creators with zero inside info were turning it into content gold. Everyone wanted their piece of the chaos, tossing out hot takes just to ride the wave of views. What made it worse was the sudden rise of the "I told you so" crowd. People who had once mocked Kai for being in a relationship were now dancing on the flames, calling it proof that fame and love can't mix. They framed it as a lesson, a warning, even a victory. At that point, the breakup wasn't just a story anymore. It had become a mirror for everyone's own opinions about fame, trust, and relationships. The internet wasn't looking for truth, it was looking for someone to blame. Eventually, Gigi Aaliyah had enough. She deactivated all her social media accounts, disappearing from the chaos completely. Whether it was exhaustion or self-preservation, nobody blamed her. The non-stop harassment from millions of fans, most of whom had already decided she was guilty, became too much to handle. The internet had turned ruthless, and Gigi chose silence over defending herself against a storm that refused to calm down. Weeks later, she quietly reappeared on YouTube, posting a calm, heartfelt video about mental health and healing. She spoke about growth, self-care, and moving forward, but noticeably avoided saying anything about the cheating rumors that had taken over the internet. It was her way of closing the chapter without fanning the flames any further. By January 2026, the chaos had finally started to fade. The biggest breakup drama in recent internet history was cooling off, but questions still lingered, and the memes refused to die. The story had gone way beyond just 2 people. It had become a reflection of how social media eats its own stories alive. When everything was stripped down to the actual facts, though, the truth painted a way different picture than the wild headlines. There was no credible proof that Gigi had ever been romantically involved with NBA YoungBoy, and there was no confrontation between him and Kai. Not in private, not in public. In the end, what the internet turned into a blockbuster scandal might have just been a mix of heartbreak, timing, and too many people chasing a story that never really existed. At this point, the truth was undeniable. The pink G-Wagon story was completely unsubstantiated. The supposed DJ Academics connection had been fully debunked as fake, and every single person directly accused had publicly denied the allegations. Not one shred of real evidence had surfaced to challenge those denials. No screenshots, no photos, no receipts, nothing. The internet had built an entire scandal out of thin air. Even Joe Budden jumped in on his podcast, offering his take on what Kai Cenat might be going through, calling it a public heartbreak turned internet theater. Other creators followed suit, adding their 2 cents and admitting the situation had spiraled way past what anyone could have imagined, all from one tweet that started as a breakup announcement. When you peeled away all the noise, the truth was actually simple. According to Gigi's own words, she was the one who ended things and walked away from Kai, not the other way around. The reasons behind that choice stayed private, locked between 2 people who had lived it, but instead of letting it be a quiet ending, Kai's emotional tweet had unintentionally opened the floodgates to chaos, turning heartbreak into viral spectacle overnight. And the irony? It couldn't have been heavier. Kai's love for NBA YoungBoy's music had always been one of the most genuine, passionate fandoms ever seen in streaming. Years of clips showed him celebrating, defending, and even crying to YoungBoy's songs. Now that same devotion had become tangled in the very rumor that nearly tore his reputation apart. A full circle moment that no one could have scripted. Kai's tears at NBA YoungBoy's mass tour concert weren't fake, not even close. That moment wasn't for views or clout, it came from a real place. His reaction showed just how deeply the music hit him, how much it actually meant on a personal level. But watching that pure emotion get twisted online into a cruel story of betrayal must have cut deep. To see trolls weaponize something so heartfelt, turning it into a gotcha moment, was brutal to witness. The memes came non-stop. People took that now iconic clip of Kai crying in the crowd and remixed it endlessly. What was once seen as a touching show of vulnerability got flipped into a joke, used to clown him at one of the lowest points of his life. Instead of celebrating his authenticity, the internet turned it into mockery. And that says more about social media than it does about Kai. But even that hate missed the bigger picture. As many observers pointed out, Kai and Gigi weren't married, didn't share kids, and weren't bound in any kind of lifelong commitment. They were 2 young creators, both with their own careers, their own platforms, and their own identities online. Expecting Gigi to vanish from the internet just because Kai was struggling wasn't realistic, and it showed how little people actually understood about life in the creator world. Relationships in that space aren't just emotional, they're public, amplified, and constantly under pressure, and when things go wrong, the internet doesn't give anyone a break, it turns private pain into public entertainment. This whole saga turned into something way bigger than just a breakup. It became a symbol of how internet culture feeds on chaos. What started as a private split between 2 young people, something that happens every single day, was twisted into a full-blown digital circus. It spiraled into cheating rumors, viral tweets, death threats, and non-stop content churned out by people who had absolutely nothing to do with it. Creators flooded YouTube with sensational titles like Kai Cenat confronts NBA YoungBoy, or NBA YoungBoy destroys Kai Cenat. And almost every one of them was pure clickbait. The videos were stitched together using AI-generated clips, random footage taken out of context, and wild speculation dressed up as fact. It wasn't journalism, it was entertainment built on someone else's pain. These videos didn't exist to uncover truth. They existed to feed the algorithm's addiction to drama and squeeze revenue out of heartbreak. And for all the noise, the actual updates were minimal. As of January 2026, Kai Cenat still hadn't spoken about the cheating rumors directly, just that original breakup post that started it all. NBA YoungBoy never said anything beyond his 3 cryptic words, "Don't trust nothing," and Gigi Aaliyah had stepped away from public life completely, focusing on her mental health and healing from the chaos. By then, the internet had already moved on, chasing its next headline, its next controversy, its next viral heartbreak. But this story left a mark, a reminder of how fast people turn private pain into public content and how little truth it takes to set the whole digital world on fire. Then came the next wave, the next scandal, the next trending drama, the next chance for the internet to rip someone apart just for entertainment. But what lingered after all the noise was something way deeper, a textbook example of how online gossip can twist reality beyond recognition. It showed exactly how a private breakup could explode into a public circus and how a few anonymous claims repeated enough times could start to sound like truth. It also revealed something darker, how the same platforms that make creators rich and famous can flip on them in an instant. One minute you're loved, the next you're being torn down by the very audience that built you up. Fame moves fast online. And when the story changes, sympathy disappears just as quickly. Through it all, one thing was never in doubt: Kai Cenat's genuine love for NBA YoungBoy's music. That admiration was real, recorded, and proven over years of moments where his emotions spoke louder than words. His connection to YoungBoy's songs was something raw and human, and no rumor could rewrite that. As for the breakup itself, no one outside of Kai and Gigi truly knows what went down. Maybe it ended over something small, something painfully ordinary. Or maybe it was more complex, something they'll never share publicly. Whatever the case, the internet didn't care about the truth, it built its own version. What we're left with is a wild reminder. The web doesn't just spread stories, it creates them. Heroes, villains, heartbreak, betrayal, all assembled from half-truths and guesses until fiction feels more real than fact. And maybe that's the biggest lesson to take away as this whole story finally starts to fade from everyone's feed. The people at the center of all this, Kai Cenat, Gigi, Aaliyah, and everyone else dragged into it, aren't characters in some ongoing reality show. They're real human beings with real emotions caught in a storm they never fully controlled. The breakup was real, the heartbreak was real, and the harassment Gigi faced, tragically that was real too. Even DJ Academics, who got falsely tied into the chaos, had to defend himself from lies that spread like wildfire. Meanwhile, all the so-called details that made the story go viral, the pink G-Wagon, the revenge plot over a mid-album review, the supposed confrontation between Kai and NBA YoungBoy, none of it held up. It was all fiction, fabricated online by faceless accounts and boosted by an internet culture that values clicks more than truth. This whole situation became the Kai Cenat effect turned up to its most extreme level. When you reach a point of fame where one emotional tweet can pull in 64 million views and end up on CNN, your personal life stops being personal. Every feeling, every rumor, every decision becomes public property, torn apart, analyzed, and reinterpreted by millions of people who think they know you just because they've seen you online. It's a harsh reality of fame in the digital age, where your pain becomes content, your privacy becomes debate, and your truth gets buried under the noise. The streams won't stop and the content will keep rolling. But behind all the cameras, milestones, and viral clips, there's still a 24-year-old guy who just went through a real breakup while the entire world built a fictional story about his pain right in front of him. That's the real story here. Not the rumors, not the memes, not the clickbait, just a young man trying to deal with heartbreak while millions turned it into entertainment. Everything else, pure internet noise. And what makes it even sadder is the idea of being betrayed by your heroes, or at least having the whole internet think you were. For Kai Cenat, his timeline with NBA YoungBoy now reads like a tragedy in reverse, where every moment of genuine love for the music, every shout out, every emotional clip that once connected with fans became fresh ammo for people to clown him with later. Once those December rumors dropped, everything changed. The same videos that used to be celebrated were suddenly being reposted with captions meant to humiliate him. But the truth is, this wasn't just some performative stan act or content for clout. Kai had been writing for YoungBoy for years. Long before the fame, long before the massive following, he was putting people onto YoungBoy's music, defending him in comment sections, and giving him props on stream. He ranked YoungBoy next to hip-hop legends, mentioning him in the same breath as artists with decades of legacy behind them. That wasn't fake admiration. It was real, and it makes what happened next sting even more. When NBA YoungBoy dropped Mass in July 2025, Kai Cenat didn't sugarcoat it. He gave it a straight 6.5 out of 10. Not out of hate, but out of honesty. That's what real fans do. They keep it genuine. They don't blindly hype everything their favorite artist drops. They speak from the heart, even when it's not popular. Kai wasn't trying to start drama, he was just being real about an artist he truly respected. Fast forward to September, and the full story played out live at Crypto.com Arena. Thousands of fans packed the place, energy through the roof, and there was Kai, not chilling in some VIP suite, but right in the middle of the crowd with everybody else. No cameras, no flashy setup, just a fan surrounded by the same chaos and emotion as everyone around him. When Heart and Soul started playing, the emotion hit hard. That tear that rolled down his cheek wasn't staged. It was real, raw, and pure. It was the moment where years of admiration, connection, and respect all came rushing out. Kai wasn't performing, he was feeling. That clip went viral for all the right reasons. Fans called it beautiful, creators praised it as proof that Kai hadn't lost his sense of self despite the fame. It showed the world that behind the jokes, the challenges, and the streaming marathons, he was still human, a guy who could be moved by the music he loved just like anyone else. And for a moment, it reminded everyone what authenticity on the internet really looks like. Then December hit, and everything flipped on its head. That same emotional clip of Kai Cenat crying at NBA YoungBoy's concert, once celebrated as a raw, beautiful moment, suddenly became a weapon. The remixes came fast and cruel. No hesitation, no mercy. Overnight, the internet twisted the story. He wasn't emotional about the music anymore, they said. He was crying because YoungBoy allegedly took his girl. That single tear, once seen as pure appreciation, was now turned into a meme for humiliation. Comment sections filled up with endless jokes and edits, everyone treating rumors like facts. People piled on, using his vulnerability as content, completely forgetting there was a real person behind that screen. No one stopped to think about what that must have felt like for Kai, how isolating it had to be to watch one of the most genuine, heartfelt moments of his life get flipped into an internet punchline. Imagine seeing something so real, a moment where you actually let your guard down get twisted into something ugly, all for clout and laughs. Millions of people were laughing at a version of events that never even happened, and the worst part, they thought they were in on the joke. This wasn't just harmless fun. It exposed something much darker about the internet's obsession with creators. The line between empathy and entertainment had vanished, and in its place was a crowd that couldn't tell the difference between real pain and viral content anymore. Fans acted like they had full access to Kai Cenat's private life, like his relationships were open chapters for them to rewrite however they wanted. They built entire storylines around him, twisting fiction into facts. And when those fake narratives painted him as the heartbroken victim, they laughed instead of caring. The same audience that once hyped him up for being genuine ended up tearing him down for the exact same thing. But here's the truth. NBA YoungBoy's music didn't change, and deep down, Kai's love for it probably didn't either. What changed was the internet's angle. Once people found a new storyline to run with, no amount of truth or denial could pull it back. The rumors had momentum, and that genie wasn't ever going back in the bottle. This whole saga was more than just online drama. It showed how fast the web can flip from support to slander in a heartbeat. If you made it this far, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll catch you in the next one.